Good morning, everybody. I'm Kristen Johnson of Praise and Art Gourds, and I have broken my ankle, and so I'm supposed to be good, sit still and let it heal. I can't teach, I can't go to school for 2 weeks, and I'm a week away now from my surgery. So yesterday something wonderful happened. I've been able to woodburn a little bit here and there when I wake up and I have energy, but mostly I just have really been resting. But yesterday I was able to finish my Jeremiah 29:11 cross and fit the knob in the middle. So I did a little YouTube about that. And I probably will reinforce the middle of this one. It really didn't match up very tight, and so even as I wove it, the back didn't come together very closely. So I added JB Weld, but I will probably put some coils of quick wood or add some more JB Weld to strengthen it. But that one is pretty much done. Okay. And so now what I'm doing today is I'm beading some more. And I had got these ready for, I was starting to get them ready for the Florida Gourd show. And it really helps me to get ready for a show and build up my inventory, but mostly just work from my heart. And this one, you can see I just have barely started it. My first step for everything is to figure out my colors. And so the one I'm working on right now, the only tool I need is my little wire cutter. And I'm using my, this is 26 gauge wire. I am not particular, but I kind of like the antique color. So I got myself a piece of wire around here somewhere, and I just need my wire cutter, but mostly I want to show you how I figured out the colors that I'm going to use for this one. And notice the words. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with loving kindness. I will build you up again. And then I even kind of grabbed some colors to figure out, like this is a button, to figure out for the middle when I'm done. Okay. So the other one I was working on, this green one, says, Amen, praise and glory and wisdom and thanks and honor and power and strength be to our God forever and ever. Amen. Revelation 7:12. One of my customers once, she said, our pastor's making us memorize that because we got to be ready. When we go to heaven, we're going to declare that to the Lord. Isn't that good? So this one is more turquoise and browns, and so I have all my beads ready in those categories, and kind of thinking, and I kind of have them on a cookie sheet, and I have all different ideas of what I could do for the middle. That is a nut. Some of these are beads. Some of them are buttons. So those are different ideas for that cross. I have several around here that I'm working on. Okay, so today what I want to do is I want to show you how I think about fitting the gourd. Once I have it cut and I cut it into the points, I have to lay it on the ground and make sure they line up. And sometimes how it lines up isn't as important to me as how it looks, right? So I'm very much concerned about the rhythm, the colors, And I'm very much concerned about like the balance of it and how it balances out. So that almost is more important to me than it lining up perfectly. The final look, right? So anyway, this one, the middle piece looks so much smaller than the other pieces, but by the time I get the beads on it, that will be very insignificant. When it's on a wall, the beads will make that so it won't matter. So I'm at the point, I'm going to set you guys over here if I can. And I'm at the point where I'm going to add the wire, okay? And I have, so these pieces, you can see they're just from snake gourd, and they could possibly be the back of each other, okay? And then I sanded them, I wood burned them, and now I am ready to bead them. When I bead them, I honestly, people have asked, how do you drill those holes? I do not drill, ever. My gourd art is my peaceful art, and wood burning is quiet. I simply wood burned those holes with this simple little wood burner. So all those little holes are burnt. Now this is much different gourd than this one because of how far I spaced the holes, right? So this one has a much bigger border. I love to add a border to my crosses, and this one has a wider border so that it will be a lot more beads. I was also very particular as I decided on my choices that it's balanced across. So I balanced it symmetrical. Now when I get over here, all I have to do is do the same pattern, but because of the nature of the gourd, I actually might not need as many beads on this side, you know, so I have to improvise. When you're a gourd artist, you have to improvise a lot because gourds are such unique shapes and sizes, and every single cross is super different from each other. Okay, well, I might have messed up. I think I just messed up the sides, so this would have been the side piece, and the one I was holding would have been the top. Sometimes they match pretty closely, but I lay them down and really double check before I start to do the beadwork. Okay, so on my Everlasting Love cross, I have these little holes that I'm gonna do the beadwork, and I just need my little length of wire. I might honestly with this one do just random instead of exact pattern. I might just do it random. So I'm ready to fit this together. I know that light isn't the best back there. And then I weave through. So I'm going through the bottom of this, and I'm going to add a couple beads. It's going to be more at this point because it's going to hook into that next corner. So I think I will use some small little light colored beads, and then add I do every once in a while add gold because the color of the gourd itself almost feels like it's gold, right? One time I was at a craft show, and one of the ladies, when she saw my gourds, and she said, they look like they're out of gold. And it's just the beautiful natural color of the gourd. I feel like I'm working with wood, you know, that's just in fun, beautiful sizes. Okay, so I've woven on my beads, and I have a little bit more leeway in this first stitch. It's just like I'm whip stitching because of how much room I have, right? And so then I'm going to go to the back and I'm just going to twist it I'm twisting it probably about 5 or 6 times. I'm from a farm in western Kansas and I've built a lot of fences. And I grumbled, but my dad never knew that would come in handy, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to start just whip stitching. And I was going to do it random, and then I kind of did make a symmetrical decision there. So we'll see. I think I just want to kind of add beads and go for it, like see what happens. And I am always on the lookout for wooden beads, and people will find them for me and they will save them for me. But in this group right here, I am finding some glass beads that are really matching this cross right now. So I am incorporating some glass and a few metallic ones. So you just got to figure out what look you like to do. Okay, so once I have several beads, I'm just doing random colors, and I'm very unbalanced, which I kind of like that. I chose some darker colors right then, and it's very unbalanced. It's not symmetrical, in other words, but I kind of like that. I think I'm just gonna add this one random. Okay, so then I go to my next hole, and I will whip stitch this whole part, adding more and more beads. Okay, let me do a few more, and then I'll let you guys get to work, because hopefully you're making something today, right? I think the last couple days, yes, I did woodburn a little in the morning, but honestly, I didn't have much energy. My body, people tell me your body is healing. You just need to rest, right? And resting it's hard for me. And all my verses around me, rest in the Lord. Wait patiently for him. Now this one, wow, I think there's only room for 3 little beads right there. So I am just going to add 3. And that's why I think this is a good gourd to just do random beadwork. Because you can see the first spot had, oh man, 6 beads. And this spot I only added 3. So it all depends on how big the gourd is. So I will whip stitch the whole thing, the whole corner, like I did this one. Okay, so I'll whip stitch, and then this one I ran out of wire, so I get another piece of wire. And again, I am not particular about a certain gauge. I just like it really easy to work with. So 26, 24, and it's more important to me. I love that metallic, that antique. So this one, I have a whole section done, and I ran out of wire. Okay, so I'm adding another piece to my wire, and I'm just putting them side by side and twisting about 7 times. And then I am ready to whip stitch the second piece. Now this is where I've got to double check which is the top of my cross. The one fits better to the side, and the one fits better at the top. So then I will whip stitch it, the second piece on, okay? And I will just continue this. I will not do the middle until I'm done, such as the cross I did yesterday. So I will continue this pattern over here now, okay? And then when sometimes I will, when I add the third piece, I will add the handle, okay? So sometimes I will add that as I'm weaving. On this particular one, I added the handle later. So I usually start at the bottom, weave up to here, weave up to here. Sometimes I'll add the handle, weave down, and then the last thing I do is add the middle. You never really know what the middle, now I'm gonna bond that better, okay? Because you can see it's wanting to move, and I want it to fit on there better for our eyes. But you never know what middle is gonna look the best until you're pretty much done. So I will continue these 2 crosses, and then I will catch you later. So go get busy, have fun with your own hands. Use your imagination to make what you want to make, right? Have a good day.